Hey gang, welcome back to the Destination Baby and Kids YouTube video. This is Gina, I'm your hostess. If you haven't yet, go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. We are going to be doing a fabulous little video going over this awesomely lightweight travel car seat from Maxi-Cosi. We are looking at the Maxi-Cosi ROMI, friends. So there is really a lot to like about this car seat. Again, before we launch into the video, go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. And if you end up liking this car seat or you like this channel and you want to support this channel, the best way to show your support is to head on over to my website, destinationbabykids.com. I'm a real brick and mortar store here in the greater San Francisco Bay Area. If you like it and learn about it from me, you should go ahead and buy it from me and buy it from destinationbabykids.com. We'll ship it right to your home. Okay, so this is a super lightweight car seat from Maxi-Cosi, and what is particularly exciting about this car seat is that it only comes in one color, the black color that you see here. It is made in the USA. The fabric's made in the USA. The actual seat is made in the USA. It will go backwards from 5 pounds all the way through to 40 pounds. It'll go from 19 to 40 inches in that rear-facing mode. In a forward-facing mode, the seat will go from 30 pounds through to 50 pounds, and it will hold up to from 34.5 through to 44 standing inches for your forward-facing mode. So it's a seat that can go either backward or forward, can install in any vehicle with a seatbelt, but also includes lower anchors and a top tether. Now, something else that's very exciting about this seat is that you can use the lower anchors the entire time that you are having this seat for installation. So some seats, by the time kiddo hits like 30 pounds, you have to stop using the lower anchors and switch over to seatbelt. This seat is so lightweight at 9 pounds that you're never really gonna overwhelm the lower anchor unit in the car with the latch connectors, so you can use latch in forward-facing installation all the way through or for rear-facing installation all the way through. So that's very exciting. Another really cool feature of this seat, which I would just want to point out, is that the top tether can lengthen. That's not particularly special. Most top tethers can lengthen. But something that's very cool is that this guy actually can serve as a travel strap for carrying it through the airport. So this would go, I guess, over your body. And then you can just sort of wear it like a backpack. And before I get yelled at, it's advertised this way. I'm not ruining the seat by using it in this fashion. They 100% advertise it as hooking up this way with a carry strap. So if you did want to carry it through SFO, you would be able to do that. So part of the reason why the seat is going to be so lightweight is that there is no bike helmet foam on the interior of the seat. Now, for me, that's not the end of the world on a travel car seat that's made in the USA, that has a 10-year expiration and is $149. So it's 150 bucks. It'll go for 10 years. And so for me, like, I really do wish that it had bike helmet foam included in the cost. However, if it's help keeping the price down and still promotes the correct orientation in the vehicle for the longest duration of use, I can look past it on this travel car seat. So that's what I would say about that. And again, this seat will also include a cup holder that can attach to either side. That's included in the purchase price. I'm not going to hook it up on the video here because it is too time consuming. Now, something that is very interesting about this seat, or something that I would point out, is that there are 2 rear-facing level lines on the seat itself. So if you look on the side of the seat, it has 2 different indicators based on the child's weight. So rear facing for children between 30 and 40 pounds is going to be a more upright positioning than your rear facing for between 5 and 30 pounds. So when we do our installation, we will show you guys that. Another thing that's interesting about the seat is you can use a pool noodle or a rolled up towel to go underneath the seat in order to achieve the proper level of recline depending on how big your kiddo is. Something else that's interesting about the seat is that you have this opportunity to tighten it up for a really, really small bodied child. It comes prepared, I would argue, not for a newborn. So like if you do have a 5-pound kiddo, you're gonna have to do some adjusting of the shoulder straps. They have, again, the seat is actually pretty well designed They have on the back, and I don't know how clear this will be, but there is a second set of thigh holes in there where you would loop this harness through to make it be a tighter fit around a smaller body. So they have instructions on page 42 in their manual of how to do that. It's a very clear manual, so I'm going to give them some props on that. It is a little bit convoluted in order to adjust it down to a really small kiddo, but I think their thought is that you'd be using this probably 6 months plus. So sizing on the, on the interior of the seat, I do have this written down. It's 22.5 inches from the butt to the very, very top of the seat shell. The seat overall is 19 inches wide. The interior of the seat is actually very spacious. It's about 13 or 14 inches, like from end to end on the inside. So if you've got a little bit wider body, kiddo with their shoulders, they're gonna fit really nicely in there. And then our shoulder slots have 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, and 12 inches of different shoulder height adjustability on the seat itself. The headrest is removable. All the material is removable, washable, and as I mentioned, both the fabric and the actual shell of the seat are made in the US, so that is very exciting. I'm trying to see. We talked about the 10-year expiration. Now, Maxi-Cosi seats, the pure cozy material, which is what this is, has no flame retardant, so that is fabulous. And something to be aware of is that the seat will only have a 1-year manufacturer's warranty. Now, Maxi-Cosi does a really good job with customer service, so I don't think it would be something that you would have to be like terribly afraid of, but just to be aware it is a 1-year warranty. And again, the seat's $150, so not super surprising. That is a shorter warranty. Now, if you wanted to install it in your vehicle, we will do a quick little demonstration. This does not take the place of installing it with correct installation instructions in the manual. So meaning if you're going to install it in your car, you do need to consult your manual. But if you wanted to do a lower anchor installation, you would first need to free your lower anchors, which are on either side of the seat, and you'll press the red button and you will pull those pieces. Something to be aware of is that this guy comes with threading through your forward-facing installation method, not your rear-facing. So if we're going to do rear-facing, what I would encourage you to do is to pull your straps through. I'm pulling mine toward the right side of the seat, and that way our latches are like dangling away from the seat shell. And then we'll go ahead and set the seat in our vehicle back seat. And I'm gonna set mine up for rear facing for children between 5 and 30 pounds, which is more reclined like this. So my recline level is more aggressive here. If I were setting it up for children between 30 and 40 pounds in rear facing mode, it would sit like that. So there are essentially 2 levels of recline, but it is dependent on the size and weight of the kiddo. So again, I'm setting it up right now for between 5 and 30 pounds and 19 to 34.3 inches. I'm gonna go ahead and take my lower anchor belt. There's a gray button. I'm gonna press on that and pull to make this long. I will hook up one side of my lower anchor, and then I'm gonna take the other side, and there's a part where it reads rear facing belt path. I'm gonna run this guy through and make sure it doesn't cut across the crotch belt piece. But then this guy will buckle in, and there is, again, that strap that I was pulling. I'm gonna turn the seat around and show a little tip for you guys. It's very tempting when you install a seat like this, let me scoot this back slightly, to pull on this belt in this direction outward. That will be really difficult, and that's never gonna give you your best installation. So the best way to tighten this is gonna be to take this belt and actually feed it back through the inside of the seat. And you can remove your fabric to get a better visual of what's going on. But now there's a hole here where my hand is, and I can pull this belt with a significant more force, higher amount of force than I would be able to if I was pulling it away from the seat. So I'm pulling it essentially through the body, the interior of the seat. I'll go ahead and put my fabric back on, and then I will readjust the seat to make sure that my level lines are looking good and that the seat is not moving more than an installation, or excuse me, more than an inch from its installation point. So that means from here, the front of the seat versus pulling back on the back part of the seat, because you're always going to get more movement there than you get at its installation point. So currently this guy is correctly installed, and then I would go ahead and check the harness to make sure that that is still working and I haven't done anything to screw that up, and that's working no problem. So our rear facing installation, pretty fast, very simple. And then if we wanted to remove the seat, all you need to do is press those red pieces, and now your lower anchors are going to come right out and the seat is removable. So this is a really nice feature of installation, because if you're going on vacation, any rental car, any car 2003 and newer will have those lower anchors, and you can use that type of setup for the seat the entire duration of use, either in forward or rear facing. So if we were going to do a forward facing installation, that rear facing belt path that we just utilized, we're going to go ahead and take our lower anchor strap and pull that back through toward me. I'm then going to take that and run that back through the forward facing belt path, which is a bit higher up on the seat. And I'm going to actually free my top tether. And now top tether will attach. This is for a forward facing installation. Again, a forward facing installation on this seat wouldn't be suitable for a kid until they're at least 30 pounds. And then they would also have to hit the height range on this seat for forward facing, which was 34.4 inches through to 44 inches. So if they're not heavy enough and they're not also tall enough, you should not be installing the seat via forward facing. You should leave them rear facing, basically as long as humanly possible. So now we're going to take our lower anchors again, lock that guy directly onto the bracket. I'll go ahead and do my other side over here. And again, you typically do hear a click when it attaches. I'll spin the seat toward the viewing audience here. And again, when I tighten this guy, will it make sense to pull endlessly toward myself? Or is it actually going to make sense to come in and approach, again, from the inside of the seat where there's this hole, and I'm able to pull this piece through and get my body in to tighten that piece by pulling up through the seat versus over to the side. And this is true of most car seats. It's just a good tip to have. This, most seats, you're able to actually run, usually, your belt through a spot in the seat to make it simpler to tighten, and then have a nice spot to hide that piece. So it's just out of the way. So once your lower anchors are hooked up and correct and tight, you also want to make sure you tighten your top tether, which we've already attached. And then now we're going to go ahead and take the seat, give it a tug, make sure it's not moving more than an inch front, back, side to side. And that would be, you know, a fast and dirty demonstration of how a theoretical installation would work maybe in a vehicle. Now again, consult your manual. That's going to be the most important thing, and be sure to read the manual for your vehicle as well as for your car seat. But can't say enough exciting things about Romi. Super glad it's back. They had been out of stock for a while. This new version holds much bigger kids. The last one only went to 40 pounds, 40 inches. This new guy goes 44 standing inches forward, up to 50 pounds forward facing. But again, for that rear facing kiddo, goes 5 through 40 pounds for rear facing, and up to 40 inches in the rear facing mode, which is very exciting, right? Yeah, That's great. We can do an extended rear facing, and it's an awesome little travel car seat for $150, made in the USA. If you want to buy it, head on over to destinationbabykids.com. Only comes in the one color, black, but hey, looks great, and it already includes the travel strap, so you don't even have to buy anything extra for it. Love it. Thanks guys for watching, and we will see you in our next video.